Hi, this is Paul Sladkis from Good News Israel, and I'm talking to Stefan Bassett. Hi, how are you, Stefan?
Great, Paul. Nice to talk to you. Thanks for calling up.
Yeah, well, we're the executive director of American Friends of Sheba Center, so in essence what we're going to be talking about is health, because the American Friends of Sheba Medical Center we are a nonprofit organization, and the Sheba Medical Center, I believe, is in Israel. Is that right?
In Tel Hashomer, just outside of Tel Aviv.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about the organization, and I know you have an upcoming event, but tell us, Children's Hospital, Women's Hospital, Main Rehabilitation Hospital, acute care, academic. Wow, great. Medical research. Yay, these are all powerful words.
Sheba is, Paul, this is the most interesting thing. Sheba is a hospital without boundaries. It's the largest and most important medical facility in the Middle East.
Wow.
It offers access to first world care for anybody that walks in the door. We are the home of the IDF's Rehabilitation Center. We've been doing that for 62 years. We rehabilitate the IDF soldiers who are wounded, securing the safety and security of Israel. That's really how the hospital started. It's blossomed from there to become really not only an Israeli resource, a place where people all over the world can go and be cared for, but also, and this is the most interesting thing, it reaches out around the world and goes to impoverished areas. They join the IDF as the first responders in Haiti to help those people ravaged during the terrible earthquake that occurred there. That's just one of many things they do. Their research, they're leading edge in cardiology, in natal cardiology. They have an amazingly high technology facility there. They lead in training doctors in the capacity. They use dummies to test for different situations so that people training as physicians can go there and learn how to take care of emergencies without potentially damaging a real human. It's just an amazing place. The care level, the spirit. The first time I went there, I just was completely blown away. And this year's event will be really the fruit of really 3 hard years we've been working here. We're honoring Nasser Damaghi, whose family is one of the leading families in the Persian community, and the great shoe designers, Sam and Libby Edelman. So that's this year. Next year, who knows?
I'm looking at the website, shebamedical.org here, and I see Garth Brooks and Troy Aikman announce a child life zone at Sheba. Okay, so do you know what that is?
I absolutely do. In our effort, as I said, we're a hospital without boundaries. In our effort to reach out to the world, not just a very narrow community, but in our effort to reach out to the world, it was launched by Helene Feldman, who's our chairman, 3 years ago. We have brought in some interesting people. The Garth Brooks Teammates for Kids Foundation is going to build the first zone for children. There's one at Mount Sinai, and it's a non-invasive, non-needle area where children can be kids. Chronically sick kids who stay in hospitals for a long time can go to this place and just be themselves. And it's a fantastic opportunity. Garth has never gone outside the United States, and he chose Israel and Sheba to place the first zone.
Beautiful. Now, the hospital is open for all types of people? I mean,
all types of people.
Don't have to be Jewish?
No, and that you don't. I mean, there are, as everybody knows, Paul, there are Palestinians and Druze and other non-Jews who live in Israel. They have about 1.7 million people. And the interesting thing, again, is that there was a story just the other day of an Iraqi child who was brought to Sheba, and we saved this child's life. There have been children that come from Lebanon, from other Arab countries, because the care is so amazing. But our primary effort has always been to take care of those soldiers who were wounded in, again, maintaining the security of Israel.
Now, tell me about the organization here, because You're the American
Friends of
Outreach.
Sheba Medical Center at Tel Hashomer.
And tell us, when did you begin?
Our chairman of the board is Helene Feldman.
Right.
Helene has been very active in philanthropic causes, primarily in the Jewish community in New York, for many, many years. Our president is Mitra Bar-Mashiach. She is an Israeli, but obviously now an American citizen, also has been with our organization for many years. Helene just started 3 years ago, and I joined 3 years ago as well.
Okay, but the organization?
The organization has been in New York initially as the Guild, which was the Manhattan Guild, which supported Sheba, and about 8 or 9 years ago became American Friends of Sheba Medical Center.
And the hospital's been around
62 years with the formation of Israel.
Okay. Now, Sheba means what? Do you know what that means, that word?
What's very interesting is the hospital is named after Chaim Sheba,
Oh, okay.
who was appointed by David Ben-Gurion to establish a full-service general hospital serving the IDF after the War of Independence.
Okay.
And it has grown, as I said, to be the largest and most important medical facility in the entire Middle East. We service roughly 1.8 million patient visits a year.
Oh, my God.
And we have roughly 7,000 births a year. We take care of virtually every aspect of people's illness, from children with serious cardiac flaws all the way to geriatric, to hearing loss. It is a full-service medical facility.
And money that is donated, and that you are a contribution 100% tax deductible.
Yes.
And
we're a 501c3 incorporated in the state of Delaware and doing business in New York.
And the money then that somebody would make here as a donation would do what there?
There are several options, as any nonprofit has. One, people can designate specifically what they would like to do at Sheba. And there are many, many opportunities, Paul, to make all the way from the rehabilitation center to lipid research to oncology. We're one of the leading oncology centers in the world, to Messer, which, as I said, is the simulated training program. I could go on and on. So you can actually designate where your contribution would go. Obviously, if it's large enough and important enough, we could name a wing of a hospital after the person, as the Safra family has donated for the Safra Children's Hospital.
Geez, what a great family that is.
Yes.
As they all say, sei gesund.
Yes.
In the old language, go in good health. So, last question then, and congratulations, and thank you for doing the work you guys are doing. Because when you save somebody one place, you're really saving somebody everywhere, because we're all in this together. It is just one planet Earth.
Yep.
And we're all brothers and sisters. At least that's the way we think it. All we are is what we are for each other is the motto here. And obviously it is what it's there as well for you guys. So Hospital Without Boundaries, Sheba Medical Center. We're talking with the Executive Director of American Friends of Sheba Center, Stefan Bassett. Okay, last question to you. What's good news for you?
Good news is that this hospital is really a treasure for Israel, and a place where people, not only Jews outside of Israel, but people everywhere should be really, really proud to see this wonderful facility existing and prospering and supporting people all over the world, not just in Israel.
Stefan, thank you very much for sharing the good news with us.
I'm going to hook you up with Helene.
Okay, great. Hi, this is Paul Slatkus, Good News Israel. I'm speaking to Helene Feldman. Hi, Helene. How are you?
I am well. How are you, Paul?
Okay, good. You're the chairwoman, or chairman, I guess.
I'm chairman of the board of American Friends of Sheba Medical Center at Tel Hashomer.
Why don't they always say man? They should say women.
I think it's just a universal term.
Oh, okay. Sounds good to me.
I'm not taking any stands here. I am who I am.
All righty, great. The American Friends of Sheba Medical Center. Where's the center located?
It's located just outside of Tel Aviv in the town of Tel Hashomer. So it's about 20 minutes outside of the center of Tel Aviv.
Okay, and it was established when?
It was established originally by the U.S. Army for the British in the early 40s when the British were in Palestine in 1942. Then, in 1948, during the War of Independence, the British abandoned Palestine. Israel realized that they would have injured soldiers, and they took over what was an empty hospital facility, and the hospital at Tel Hashomer became the Israeli hospital for the soldiers of the IDF at the time. At that point, the hospital, after 48, was strictly for the soldiers of the IDF, as it is still today the main hospital for the soldiers of the IDF. Every wounded soldier gets rehabilitated at Sheba. Sometime in the 1950s, in about 53 or 54, Dr. Chaim Sheba came along, and under his reign, the hospital opened its doors to civilians as well. And at that point, the hospital became both an army hospital as well as a civilian hospital treating patients from all over the country.
That's a very large facility, is that right?
It is the largest facility in the Middle East. It sits on over 220 acres. We see close to 2 million patients a year. We have over 1,700 beds, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Aha. Now, the American Friends, of which you're the chairman of the board, does what?
American Friends is responsible for the primary fundraising and awareness raising in the New York area, in the tri-state area, and around the country. There is another office in Los Angeles. They operate independently, and they primarily do fundraising in LA. Our goal is to open branches, or satellites as we call them, in different states as well as in different countries, and we are at this point entering Brazil, and we are attempting to set up a satellite there. We have some connections there and people who are very interested in having an office there and having a Brazilian friends. So we are taking our show on the road.
Now, what I learned as a result of attending a wonderful, magnificent benefit.
Thank you.
That turned the Hyatt here in New York into. I felt like I was in the Middle East.
That was the goal. Good.
Okay. Well, it
we
was
accomplished
just
our goal.
Quite the thing.
Yeah.
Tell. I mean, let's just talk about benefits. I mean, who put that together, and how did that come about in the motif?
Okay. Well, we thought, since we're the largest hospital in the Middle East, and because we are a hospital without boundaries, meaning we push the boundaries of care, but more importantly, that we treat regardless of race or religion. So we are a hospital that treats Israelis, Jewish Israelis, Arabs, Palestinians, and we actually do take our medical care around the world. So we pride ourselves on being the hospital without boundaries. In that vein, we thought, since we are the largest in the Middle East and we represent the largest medical facility in the Middle East, we thought thematically bringing a little bit of the Middle East to New York would be interesting. Luckily, I have a young board member named Dean Stern, who is part of the Stern Group. He and Michael Stern, who are his fathers, are event planners. Michael Stern has a CV that goes back to his days when he was the premier event planner in Israel, and now he is in New York. Because they both work with us, they offered to do the decor really almost as a donation, so that what appeared to be a costly decorative event really was done at very minimal costs, and I really have to thank Dean and Michael Stern of the Stern Group for their input.
Wow, they are creative people.
They're amazing.
Jeez, that really
and they're lovely.
Special. Yeah, no, you could feel the loveliness throughout the entire evening.
Yeah,
it was a wonderful, wonderful event. So, and the food along with the decor.
Food along with the decor had, one of our honorees is of Persian descent, and so we thought it might be interesting to have some Persian delicacies. So we did have a Persian setup in the during the cocktail hour. The caterer was Ram Caterers, and they did, it's called Foremost Ram Caterers. They did an amazing job, and they set up, one station was total Persian food, and the food itself at the dinner was also Persian in flavor, kind of Middle Eastern in its flavor and taste. And then at the end, unfortunately, people were just all over the place, but there were Persian tea stations set up around the room that people were able to go and partake.
Now, I wasn't all over the place. I was all over the baklava.
Oh, okay, so you found it. Good.
I sure did.
Good.
Yeah.
We were just hammering home that Middle Eastern theme.
Oh, God, it was wonderful. So, now, who were the honorees?
The honorees were Mitra Damaghi was our humanitarian award, received the Sheba Humanitarian Award, Mitra, Damaghi, Damaghi. Mitra is a woman who is very active and part of the Persian Jewish community. She lives in Kings Point, Great Neck, New York, with her husband and 3 boys. We were introduced through a mutual friend, and Mitra immediately wanted to visit the hospital after all she had heard. And really, in the middle of the visit, really expressed her desire to take an active role in supporting Sheba Medical Center. So she immediately joined our board, and she is a board member of American Friends. And at the same time, she committed her family to support the hospital in a very generous fashion. And not only as a one-shot deal, they're here to stay. And they are a very prominent Persian family and a very generous, almost quietly generous family, wonderful people. I just have never met people like this in my life, just gracious and warm and so generous. And they're very supportive of many charities, but have never taken an active role the way they did at this charity. And she worked really hard to make sure that the Persian community was involved and supported. And as you could see in the room, I would say 60% of the room were members of the Persian Jewish community, and they really supported us in a big way.
Yeah.
So she was wonderful.
Quite active out there.
Yeah. She is just, she's A+ for effort and A+ for the success that she brought to us, and she's already working on next year's. I mean, she hasn't even taken a day off. She's ready to roll.
Well, I have some Persian friends, and I have them in that general area, Great Neck, and that whole area. And a couple of weeks ago, I went to the Sabbath Friday night Shabbos dinner, and it was the first time I ever was at a Persian Shabbos dinner.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was very interesting and very warm, and they sang with gusto.
Yeah, they're warm. They're warm and wonderful people, and they include you. The food is great, as when you go to any Persian home. And they're a wonderful, they're a very tight-knit community. They all support each other, and they do come out for each other, even if it's 7 nights a week. They come out when they are invited to a benefit. They support and they come. And I see that. It's a really tight-knit community. Very enviable. Very wonderful.
It was wonderful. Abby the Darshti, and she was there.
Yes, I know who they are.
I ran into them there, and I just had gone to their home, and really was taken back how wonderful. It was actually, I have a wonderful temple, the Actors Temple here in New York, where I belong, and we have a lot of gusto there, and a warm Hamisha feeling.
Right.
And I had the same in someone's home, so it was.
That's great.
It's a good thing.
That's great.
We love good news like that.
That's great.
Now there was a gentleman, I think,
it was the second set of honorees, by the way.
Yes, right. Okay, why don't we? Well, right before that, just because the hamotzei, talking about the Shabbos dinner, was given by
the father-in-law, Mr. Nasser, Nasser Damaghi,
right,
who is our honoree, Mitra's father-in-law, her husband's father.
Oh, okay.
And she thought it would be a very, within the community, it's a big honor to do the motzi at a meal. So.
Yeah, it's a big honor. Well, and he did a beautiful job.
Yes, ultimately.
And so the other honorees?
And the other honorees were Sam and Libby Edelman. The Edelmans are probably the most famous shoe designers in the country, and now moving around the world. They started their company over 20 years ago, and they developed the Esprit, E-S-P-R-I-T shoe, which was obviously very successful. And then they created what was known as the ballet flat and the gladiator sandal. And those two really owe the genesis to the Edelman, Sam and Libby. They are just also very warm and committed people who have not really participated in a public way in any charity. This was their first public type participation where they publicly committed themselves to a charity. They became our global special ambassadors, 2010. Every year we assign a global special ambassador. And they did come with me to Israel, and they visited the hospital, and they were just overwhelmed and committed themselves to help and to try and raise awareness and funds for the hospital. They recently were bought by the Brown Shoe Company, which is a public company, and they feel very, very blessed, and this was their way of giving back. They're still involved in the shoe business and still working with Brown Shoe now. They also raise horses. They have a horse farm, and they raise horses, and many of the famous horse people that we all know board their horses on their farm and ride on their ranch. And they just are two lovely, down-to-earth, committed human beings who really helped to enhance our evening and make it the success that it was.
They were wonderful. I got a moment to speak with them, and ironically enough, I grew up in the shoe business.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't spell, and I went into show business.
Okay.
And so,
gotta choose something.
But I love the shoe business because we had a store and blah blah blah, and I've sold those shoes that he's made over the years, and so it was really a wonderful, wonderful evening, and for a good cause, and even the video that you had where you all were at the medical center, that had a lot of good feelings about it, where we would see some of the people.
Yes. We love making videos.
Okay.
I've become a bit of a filmmaker, among
good.
other things.
Well,
My mother would say chief cook and bottle washer.
There
I
you-
love making movies. I didn't realize I loved sitting in the editing and cutting room and
Wow.
just putting it together, and I had fun.
Well, that's great. Well, you can come over here. We, that's what we do.
Can work okay.
All right. We'll
In my
talk
spare
about
time.
It. There you go.
Between soap operas and bonbons, sure.
Fantastic. Soap operas are good.
Yeah.
In any case, I imagine you haven't seen one in a while.
I have not seen one in a really long time.
I used to make one, and they're a wonderful show, but you need time to watch them.
You
No
need
doubt
time
about
to
it.
watch in the daylight hours.
And are you a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay.
I as of the day that I became chairman of the board, I gave up practicing law. I'm now working full-time for American Friends, and there's really no time to sit in a courtroom anymore. So I've committed myself full-time to American Friends.
Congratulations. Well,
Thank
I
you.
also know, just lastly here, you've also done some stuff down in Haiti.
Yes.
I know in the Congo and Peru. And the organization, I'm sure under your leadership, is going to be much more great things ahead, and it was a big honor to attend and to share in the evening with you all. And last question is, what's good news for you?
What's good news for me?
Yes.
For the hospital?
For you or for your hospital, for anything in your life?
What is good news?
Yes. What's good news for you?
In a general sense or on a personal level? This is a very loaded question.
I forgot you're a lawyer. In any way you'd like to answer it, you can talk about it.
Good news for me is when I wake up in the morning and assuming the sun is shining and everybody around me is healthy, and I know that I will be able to spend the day doing something that is rewarding and fulfilling, and that I will succeed. And success in everything that I do and is good news. I like success. I like to succeed, and especially if it's something that is attached to a reward. I'm not talking about personal success. I've never pursued financial success in my life. It's never been important to me. Even as a lawyer, I work for the state. I represented victims of domestic violence, and most recently I sat in courtrooms and I got paid bupkis. But for me it was a matter of making the world a better place. So good news for me is that I have succeeded in some small way to make the world a better place. and now through Sheba Medical Center, which affects and touches so many lives in Israel and around the world. And the fact that I can be a part of Sheba Medical Center, that's good news for me.
Beautifully said. Helene, thank you so much for sharing your good news with us, and look forward to doing some more things with you.
Great.
Thank you.